Hello everyone, Melissa here, design team member for Bello's Designs. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how I've made this card here. This is just a lot of texture with hearts, something cool and funky. I just wanted to do something different for my mom for Mother's Day, so this will be her Valentine's card. It does say time is the most valuable thing that we can spend. And meaning that, you know, spend some time with your mom. But anyway, so cool, funky, lots of textures and different things. Hodgepodge makes no sense. It's wonderful. So follow along with me, and I will start with the supplies that are needed to make this card. Okay, so for the supplies that you're going to need for this project is a 5x7 card base, a piece of black cardstock that is cut 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, a piece of Multifarious card cut 4 by 6, a scrap piece of black cardstock that's cut 4 by 3/4, and then you'll need a scrap piece of paper to stamp and cut the hearts out of. So for the stamps today, we're going to be using the Heart Large LAB 785, Heart Small LAB 784. We're going to use the Texture 1 LAB 786. This one is texture, I believe, 2. And this is LAB 781, the clock set. So those always. And then we're going to be using the Sentiment from Time Flies, LAB 783. And we're going to use the one that says time is the most valuable thing we can spend. We're going to use the waffle stencil. I'm going to use a stamping platform, and I have a grid sheet to help line up the sentiment stamp. For inks today, we're going to be using the Spray Inks acrylic sprays by Lavinia. I have it in Sun Yellow, Claret, and Chartreuse. I'm going to use the Green Lemons Opal Polish. For stamping, we're going to use Versafine Clair Nocturne and Watermark Versamark and some black primary ebony. This is the super fine. And then we're going to use the foils, deco foils. Patty just started carrying, so I have the liquid adhesive, and I'm going to use this pink quartz deco foil. For other tools, you'll need a burnishing tool, and this is from the Adorable Scoreboard. I'm going to use that for the foil. You need a pair of good scissors, a splat box, a heat tool, and possibly a water bottle. If there's anything else, it will be in the links below in the description. Just click the See More, and that'll pop right up with all the links directly to the website. Okay, so to get started, and get everything cleaned up a little bit out of the way. First thing, we're going to start with our hearts. So we're going to do the deco foiling on the hearts, but the glue needs time to dry. So we're going to do the hearts and the background at the same time. So I'm taking the Lavinia, the large heart, and I'm going to stamp that onto my paper that I'm going to fussy cut this out of. So because I'm using this as a fussy cut, I'm just trying to use up the least amount of paper possible, easiest to cut. So Versafine Clair Nocturne. This is a good detail, lots of detail, and I want to get a good coat on that. So get a good stamp impression of that. And I'm going to put it away. Put white. Okay, and then for times purposes, I've already got the small one done and ready, so now I'm just going to, but otherwise you could cut the small, stamp the small one right there, side by side, so you're not wasting too much of your paper. So just cut that out real quick. Okay, so now once that's cut out, you have both of them. If you want to add a little shape, you can use your burnishing tool, kind of set that in the middle, and I'm just going to kind of go right down the middle and lift up. So I'm giving it kind of a backwards, and I don't want to crease, so I'm just kind of lifting it. And then I'm going to take the back side, or the rounded part, and I'm going to just kind of push and twist that, and just kind of bend that paper. And it's going to kind of curl the edges down. And I've done the same thing to the small one, so when they stack, you're going to get some dimension on your card. So now we will work on our background. I'm done with all that for a minute. So bring out your splat box and card topper. And I just have a piece of paper in there just to kind of absorb some overspray. And we're going to start with the yellow, and you want to give this a quick little shake. And I'm going to stand up. And then we're just going to give a good spritz kind of in the middle. And we're going to do some green. Give that a good shake. And you'll see some color build up. Just kind of shake it a little bit. And sometimes the sprays will just kind of want to go where they want until they start misting out a good amount. And I'm going to spray just a, oops. So you can't really, you don't know where it's going to go. Okay. And now, before I do the carlet on the card, I'm going to slightly move that to the side, and I'm going to lay the waffle stencil over the top. And I'm just going to spray one concentrated spray off to the side, and then off to the top. Okay. And then we will set those up. And if you want to try to do a little bit more, you could just take, while this is wet, and just kind of pounce it down. You're going to get a few little more. And then I'm going to use this again, so I'm just going to give that a quick wipe. Clean that up and wipe off that. We're going to use this again, the stencil again here in a moment, so we don't want to go too far away with that. Okay, and then I'm going to take my heat tool and just give that a quick dry. Okay, now that we're going to let that sit, and you can just kind of like pull this, get it back into shape a little bit. And we're going to take our hearts now with our Deco Foil adhesive, because this takes quite a while to dry. According to the bottle, it says it can take up to an hour to 2 hours. So it'll go on kind of creamy, and then when it's clear is when you can put your foil on. So I'm just going to very lightly go around this line. Of the heart on the inside. And I'm trying to keep the thickness of the glue consistent over the heart. As much as I can. It's kind of hard to do to keep it completely even if you're just trying to draw a line. But just take your time and go around slowly. Okay, so hopefully you can tell that it's definitely a creamy white glue. So we're going to set that off up to the side, and we're just going to let those dry. And then finish working on our card. So coming back to our card here, we're going to add up some stamps. We're going to start with our texture stamp, first of all. And for the texture stamps, you don't really need to use a platform. You can just use your hand, or you can just keep them on the acetate. I kind of like to take them off so I have more control. So just kind of ink that up. Really doesn't matter if it's completely covered or not. And we're going to go right over the stenciled area. Just kind of give that a little bit more texture. So we'll do 3 on that side, and then we'll use this one. This one is really fine. It reminds me of honeycomb. The texture, I believe this was 1. Yeah, texture 1. So we're going to add some there. And the fun thing about these textures is, like, it doesn't matter where it's at. It doesn't have to be specifically placed anywhere. Just random here, there. Don't really think about it. It's just a background. And then I'm going to add the cog stamp, or the clock set stamps. I'm just going to do actually, I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper. So scrap piece of paper, because I just want a second generation, and so that way they're just kind of in the background. Okay, so I'm not thinking about it too much, just kind of want it balanced. So pretty much just looks like a hot mess, but that's okay. That's what we're going for. All right, now we're done with that. We're going to just leave that be. I think that's going to look great. We're going to have our heart probably here stacked. And then the little black piece is going to go here with our sentiment. So we're going to move on to that. That's going to work out good. Okay, so for the sentiment, I'm going to take my black cardstock. I'm going to move it to the white so maybe you can see it better. And an opal polish. And make sure your sponge is wet. If it's not wet, just run it under some tap water or spray it with your spray bottle. After a while, they do harden up, but if you'll just wash it with water under the sink until you get all of the gunk loosened up, it'll work. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this over the top. And I'm just kind of wanting a grungy effect. So it doesn't need to be covered completely. And I'm just going to, this is almost virtually dry, but I'm just going to dry it. So quick blast. Platform again. And this is where this little grid line comes in very handy. So with the 7/8 time flies, I'm going to take the bottom sentiment that says the most valuable time. Time is the most valuable thing we can spend. And you can kind of line it up, see that where you like it. And I like to put it in the middle. Get my line here on the middle so it's straight. And I'm just going to run that dark line so it is right going through the middle of the words. Pick that up, make sure this didn't move. I have it lined up on my ruler there. And then we're going to ink that up in the Versamark. Good press. I'm grabbing my scrap piece of paper that I just used. I'll use that again for the embossing. And back into the pot that goes. Inside. Rag, clean up my table. I have glue on my table, so. Okay, and then we're going to heat set this. And another tool that you might want to use is a pair of backwards tweezers. Pick that right up on the corner. And I bumped it. So I bumped it right here where it says where time is. It's smudged. So I'm just going to simply just fix that. Just leaving that there. And we'll just add a little bit more. So don't get frustrated if you smudge your powder a little bit. If you didn't actually rub it, your stamp is probably fine. You can just pour more powder over it and you'll be good. Okay, so heat set this. And that element is now done. And now with our black card and our stencil again, we're going to go ahead and do this work. So I'm just going to lay this stencil on as straight as possible, kind of, and then I'm going to use this same polish. This is the Green Lemons. So it looks yellow. It's yellow on white paper, and it is greenish gold on black paper. So I'm going to move back over here onto this. Put some crusties on there. So I'm going to take my stencil and a straight line, line that up. So if you have a glass board, like, use your rulers, they're everywhere. You have straight lines. It's the easiest way I find without actually having to get something else out. You don't have to do that. So far I'm very wobbly today. Now we're just going to push the paste around the corners through the stencil. And so I'm just pushing and pouncing. And I'm just going to do that all the way around the outside edge. Okay, so I'm going to take this stencil and put it into water straight away. And I'm going to spray my sponge. Just a couple light spritzes, keeps it wet. Set that off to the side. We're going to let this dry. Okay, so stencil's in the water. And I'm going to just give this a quick little blast and heat it, set it. Okay, so that's going to be our mat. And with the stencil with the paste, when you're not using a brush, you're going to get areas that are really thick, and you might get areas that are really thin. If you don't like that look, you just have to keep working it out, because I want this to be very textured. It isn't bothering me one bit that this area has more than this area. It's okay. Alright, so now that's done. Background's done. Sentiment's done. And our glue is just about ready. Because I'm in a pretty hot area, and I'm going to use my heat tool to speed up this process for the sake of this video. But let's go ahead and we're going to get out our deco foil sheets. And these come in a set of 5 sheets to a package, and they're rolled up. Just take one out. And put them back in. I'll do that in a second. And you can cut these foil sheets kind of down to size, so you're not wasting too much of it. Okay, and now I'm going to just hit it with my heat gun just a bit, just to speed this up. Okay, so this heat foiling is pretty new to me too, so I've only done it just a couple of times. But you want to make sure that your glue is tacky, not too wet, and you want to make sure that when you use your foil, you have the color of the foil, the pretty side up. So it's silver on the back and color on one other side. So you just put that on there and set it, and then I'm going to just take my varnishing tool and give that a rub. Okay, and then we're just going to hold that and peel it off. And I definitely overdid it and smashed that way too hard. So let's try this one. I'm just going to rub it with my finger. And kind of just rub it with your fingernail if it's missing spots. So I feel like that I did it too hard and I smashed it. Okay, so now you're gonna get this like splattered effect, but don't that look cool? It's not fancy. Like it's just kind of on there, and it's just for texture though, so it's good. And we're going to put that on. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is we will need some glue to adhere all this. So I'm going to use my Ultra Bond. And I'm going to glue right around this edge of the heart, this edge, right down the center and the bottom. Put that in place. So I'm trying to keep as much of that dimension that I got from folding it as I can. And then we will add that to our card. Same thing, just glue around the edge, down the center, and around the side. And okay. And just press that until the glue holds it. And now we're going to take our sentiment, and I think we'll put it just about right there. And you could do some puffy tape to give it some more dimension if you'd prefer, or you can just glue that on there. I usually like to not have so much spray and have a little bit more white space, but that's okay. So, determine if you want. Yep, I think I like it like that. But one more little thing that I'm going to add, just because I like it, is I'm just going to edge my card with the marker. You could do this with your ink pad too. Just run it along. But sometimes I'm more messy with my ink pad. You can also just put this down and draw with a ruler. Okay, and then we're going to glue this down. And then hard base. Got some piling up right there. Just wipe that on. And a good even border around the edge. So, there you have it. That is our finished card. Hopefully you can see some of that shimmer, shine that we're getting from the polishes in all directions. The foil's really hard to kind of pick up on camera. But if you don't, this is really pretty smashed. I don't smash it too hard with your tool. Just lightly do it. But anyways, I think it looks pretty cool. It's just something fun, different. Like, it doesn't even have to even make any kind of sense. Anyways, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to leave a comment below, that would be great. If you have any questions. Also, please follow us on our Facebook groups. We have two. We have Bello's Designs, Del Bello's Designs Lounge, everything for Lavinia stamps, and we have Del Bello's Designs a la carte for everything else in Patty's shop, such as Nellie's Choice, Sweet Pop Stencils, and Cardio, and many more crafts.